the area, and by noon the park was back open. Jonathan Cook, the director of Parks and Recreation, says even though the park is clear, piles of brush will now need to be picked back up and transported to the landfill.
What we have here, obviously, we're piling up brush throughout the day, and it's an ongoing process. A lot of people don't think about what you do with the trees after, but we take them to the landfill, mulch them down, reuse them for mulch, and it's just a constant back and forth for our crews today.
It wasn't only crews cleaning up in Cameron Park, but plenty of homeowners were also cleaning up their yards. The winter weather and slick roads leading some schools and school districts to announce delayed starts for today. So let's take a look. Groesbeck and Bryan ISD will both have 2-hour delays to their bus routes and start times. However, Groesbeck says Kids Care will open at its regular time. Bryan ISD will have no morning pre-K. Blinn College District also says it'll open at 10 a.m. And just into the newsroom this morning, College Station ISD has announced a 2-hour delay of its start time and bus routes. At last check, Killeen, Temple, Waco, and Gatesville ISDs plan to resume normal operations today. If you need to get out of the cold, the Killeen Community Center is once again open as a warming station. It'll be open until 8 o'clock this morning to provide relief from the freezing temperatures. And it's going to remain chilly throughout the morning, Jordan.
Yeah, it's going to remain chilly probably throughout the day. We still have a little bit of snow on the ground. That's keeping highs a little bit cool, and then eventually warmer air tomorrow. So our focus are these really chilly temperatures. You saw Erin Heff dressed in layers, her hat on. That's the recipe. You know, we have 20s out there. Some spots even colder, and your dew point's at 25. So the temperature, dew point, a little close together. We're also seeing maybe some freezing fog to form. Yes, fog can freeze. We'll show you the map in a second, but look at Lubbock. At least we're not that cold. 15, 20s across most of the area, and even 30s down along the coastline into Houston and Corpus Christi. So for us, again, anything lower than 28 is considered a hard freeze. So Waco, Temple, Georgetown, out to the west, Lampasas, Hamilton, 30 in Mejia, and now a hard freeze in Bryan College Station at 27. Please have the layers on. It's going to stay cold at least for the next couple of hours. So there's your fog that's forming east of I-35, less than a mile now in Hearn. This could also create a thin glaze on your windshield as you step outside. So make sure you've got that defroster on full blast as you head out, because that will stick around again for the next couple of hours. Then temperatures start to warm up at about 8 o'clock. 30 or 37 at 10, I should say. Then 40s don't get going until around that lunchtime. So again, snow kind of keeps things a little bit cool out there, but sunshine will continue to melt that snow. 50 in Killeen, Temple, Waco. Goldthwaite, Burnett, you're staying in the 40s today. So will Rockdale and Cameron. And then the rest of us, it is highs only up to about 50. And then tonight, temperatures fall into the low 30s. So not a hard freeze, just maybe a few light freezes across the area. Across the state, you can see that snowpack continues to shrink. Abilene and Lubbock stays in the 40s. We'll barely touch the 50s here in central Texas. And then tomorrow, the south breezes kick in. So we're saying hello to the 60s. And Joey Lindsay, we'll let you know how long that could stick around here in your full 10-day forecast in about 15 minutes.
That's going to be a little... All right, we'll see you then. Up next here, a dog attacks a toddler at a Texas restaurant.
The dog was a service animal, and now the family says it's dangerous. 12 minutes after 6 o'clock on Good Morning Texas.
Back at 6:15, a Southeast Texas family demanding answers after their 3-year-old is bitten by a dog wearing a service vest. We want to warn you now, some of the images you are about to see may be disturbing. Here's Micah Hadfield.
This is 3-year-old Ronan, a beautiful child who became a victim Saturday of a dog attack.
As quick as she turned the corner was as quick as the dog snapped on her.
Cleaveretta Gordon Waldrop, her husband, and their friend took Ronan to the Loose Caboose in Old Town Spring on Saturday. They say the child walked in a couple steps ahead of them and rounded the corner to get in line to order some chicken nuggets. And that's when they say she came face to face with a pit bull wearing a service dog vest.
It had a hold of her face, shook her. The lady pulled on the leash. The dog released her and she just dropped like a rag doll.
Ronan's mother took the child and assessed her injuries. That's when her father, James Waldrop, heard what happened.
Her best friend Kim said she was bit by a dog. I turn around, I go, what dog? And 2 people at the door frame says she's running that way. And I broke and ran.
Yeah, go right ahead, lady.
I'm yelling at her, she can't leave, there's been an accident, my daughter's been bit in the face, you have to come back. And she yells at me, it was your daughter's fault.
Ronan was taken to the hospital where she got stitches. Her mother says she was told by the doctor that because of the way she was bit, they anticipated that she would have minimal scarring, but suggested that she still see a plastic surgeon.
My husband and I walked in our bedroom, and she has my makeup brushes. And she's trying to put makeup on her face. And when I asked her, what is wrong? Why are you doing that? For a 3-year-old to turn to me and say, Mommy, I'm ugly. It's earth-shattering.
That was Micah Hatfield reporting. In more news this morning, if you're a veteran or surviving spouse who needs help, Caritas's Veterans Outreach Program can help. The program can help with rent, utility bills, food, prescriptions, and more. To qualify, you must live in McLennan, Falls, Limestone, Bosque, or Hill County. For more information, call the number 254-753-4593, extension 233. The program is supported by a grant from the Texas Veterans Commission Fund for Veterans Assistance. It's 17 minutes after 6 o'clock on your Tuesday. Jordan, another cold day.
Yeah, a very cold day. We talked about yesterday how temperatures this morning would be much colder thanks to clear skies and some of that snow melt that's been occurring. So look at this map as we check out the Waco Extraco Eagle Eye camera. 27 degrees. Anything lower than 28 will be considered a hard freeze. So that's where you can get a lot of that refreezing potential. Some of those streets are still wet from the snow melt. Also, the dew points are pretty close to the temperatures, so that's the recipe to get some of that fog, and this is actually freezing fog. Yes, fog can freeze when temperatures are below freezing, so that could create a thin little glaze on your windshield. Defroster on full blast as you head out the door. And of course, with temperatures this chilly, make sure the kiddos are dressed in layers. It's going to stay chilly throughout the morning. Download the 25 News app. You can check out your hour-by-hour forecast, but 20s stick around through 8 o'clock. 30s back at 9, and then 40s probably not until about the lunch hour today. So again, things will stay chilly, but at least the sunshine will continue to melt some of that snow as we go throughout the rest of your afternoon. Highs only making it into the low 50s. Some spots will stay in the 40s all across central Texas and the Brazos Valley, with lows again back into the lower 30s tonight. So only light freezes expected. Snowpack will continue to shrink, so we'll hold on to the 50s here, but south breezes tomorrow will bring in the 60s, and we're going to hold on to that for just a little while longer as well. So 58 tomorrow. Again, some spots maybe hitting the 60s by your Wednesday, and then all of us get there on Thursday. Mostly sunny skies, full sunshine for your Friday, and then a big disturbance comes across the Great Lakes and northern plains. So that's not going to bring too many rain chances for us, maybe a couple by early next week. Really, temperatures just slightly below normal in the middle to upper 50s.
All right, thank you, Jordan. There's a birthday boy in Waco.
Now, Razak is celebrating his 4th birthday at the Cameron Park Zoo. It's 6:20. Good Morning Texas continues right after this.
Time now is 6:23. In your entertainment news this morning, we're getting a first look at a biopic about a legendary singer, plus an actor-director getting back behind the camera. Here's David Daniel with more.
Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
Here's your first look and listen at Andra Day in The United States versus Billie Holiday. The Grammy-nominated singer stars in Lee Daniels' biopic as Holiday, the legendary singer targeted by the government. The drama about her activism, her addiction, her heartbreak, and her legacy debuts on Hulu February 26th. The year's first big pop culture auction covers decades of movie and television history. More than 600 items are going on the block, from vintage toys and collectibles to original posters and props from classic films. It all goes on the auction block January 30th and 31st. More info at vegalleries.com.
doing this job for the love of it.
Ben Affleck is getting back behind the camera. The actor, who won a Directors Guild Award for Argo, will direct Keeper of the Lost Cities. He's also set to produce the film and co-write the screenplay, adapting Shannon Messenger's best-selling fantasy series about a 12-year-old girl with telepathy. Of course, you probably knew I was going to say that. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
A familiar face to soap opera fans is gone. One of John Riley's daughters confirming on Instagram the actor has died. Riley's acting career spanned 5 decades with appearances on many TV shows, best known for portraying Sean Donnelly on General Hospital for 11 years. He was 86 and leaves behind 5 daughters. Taylor Swift dropped 2 new songs last week. One is called It's Time to Go, but it looks like the singer's not taking her own advice when it comes to the Billboard charts. Swift's latest album, Evermore, returned to #1 on the Billboard 200 chart for the 3rd non-consecutive week, giving her a total of 51 weeks at #1 across all 8 of her chart-topping albums. And that means the pop star has now tied Michael Jackson for the 4th most weeks at #1 on the charts.
And it's official, the Merc with a Mouth is heading to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ryan Reynolds is set to reprise his role as Deadpool in a 3rd film. No, kids, you're still not going to be able to watch this movie yet. Marvel Studios president says the movie will be rated R. Reynolds is currently working on the script. A very special birthday celebration is happening in Central Texas today. Razak the orangutan at the Cameron Park Zoo is turning 4. You'll be able to celebrate with him at 10 o'clock this morning. Since it is going to be cold, Razak will be inside, but you'll be able to see him through the window. It is time now to find out who's going to win this Good Morning Texas coffee mug.
I was going to say we could give one to the birthday boy, but he'd probably throw it against the wall and
yeah,
shatter
it wouldn't fare well for the coffee mug.
Yeah, he doesn't want one, but Larry Rocha does, and he's our winner today. Congrats, Larry. You get to pick up one of these mugs here today. Good Morning Texas mug. And if you still want to get your hands on one of these babies, all you have to do is go over to our website, kxxv.com/contest, look for the mug. Click on that, then give us your email address, and we'll give one away every weekday morning. You got to watch to find out if you are our next winner.
I just wonder if Razak's going to have a
Yeah,
birthday
Razak
cake?
could be a winner.
He could.
He could win the mug.
I'm just going to take him one and see what happens.
Okay, go for it,
All right.
Joey. We're going to be right back with news. Now at 6:30, a COVID clinic opens. Details on the mass vaccination site and how to get an appointment.
And a new, easier to distribute vaccine being produced in the Brazos Valley, how it could help our community.
Plus, it's day 1 of the Texas Legislature, the items on the agenda throughout the session. It's Tuesday, January 12th, 2021, and Good Morning Texas continues right now. A mass COVID-19 vaccination clinic opens today in downtown Waco. Thanks for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm Lindsay Lippman.
I'm Joey Horta. That clinic is happening at the Waco Convention Center. Nurses will be administering the vaccine safely as people maintain social distancing. The vaccine is available by appointment only for those who qualify. Health officials say appointments for this first round filled up in just 25 minutes.
It was faster than we expected. We're excited. There was so much interest and so many people wanted it. We had a feeling it would go fast, but 25 minutes was all it took.
The clinic will serve about 500 people a day for 3 days, and the health district is hoping to receive another batch of the vaccine soon, but there is no clear timetable. So to speed up distribution, the state now has 28 distribution hubs. 2 of those are right here in Central Texas. Bell and McLennan counties are expecting large amounts of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. People in McLennan will be getting theirs starting today, and those in Bell County will be a little later on this week.
The fact that this vaccine exists and the fact that we're going to, in the near future, have 3,900 doses in Bell County, excuse to be lax in those practices that we've been encouraging for almost a year now.
Health officials say the large shipments of COVID-19 vaccines are expected to continue, but for now, check your local health department's website for vaccine distribution updates. And the vaccine rollout continues. Texas A&M and Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies will be producing 2 COVID-19 vaccine candidates. Thanks to Operation Warp Speed, Fujifilm and College Station will be able to accommodate large-scale production of the Novavax vaccine. That candidate is currently in phase 3 of clinical testing.
And the really critical piece is it's a vaccine that doesn't require a lot of the refrigeration requirements. So it's much easier to distribute and hand out. It'll be particularly useful in rural areas and other areas where the necessary refrigeration for the current 2 vaccines is made a little bit difficult.
Once they receive emergency use authorization from the FDA, the vaccine will be manufactured throughout 2021.
COVID-19 testing happening later this week in Temple as well. The testing will be happening at Temple Fire and Rescue Station number 4 this Thursday and Friday. To make an appointment, just visit the website on your screen. An appointment is required for testing. COVID-19 testing resumes today in McLennan County. It's happening at Waco ISD Stadium from 8 to 5 through Friday. It's a drive-through saliva test, so you're going to make sure you don't eat, drink, or brush your teeth for a half hour before you get tested. Moderna says it's hoping the technology it used to develop its COVID-19 vaccine could be used to tackle other dangerous viruses. The company says it'll use its mRNA technology for experimental treatments of the seasonal flu and HIV virus, among others. Moderna believes the tech could help treat viruses that have, quote, eluded traditional vaccine efforts, end quote. Trials of the pharmaceutical company's flu and HIV vaccines are expected later this year. Well, Texas lawmakers will be gathering in Austin today to open this year's legislative session. And while the coronavirus is getting a lot of attention, Texas families have many concerns. Here's 25 News reporter Dennis Turner.
The 87th Texas Legislature will convene here at noon today to consider as many as 750 or more different bills that could change our lives. Throughout the day, I'll give you an inside look at how what goes on here will affect families. Here plan to address issues of concern to all of us. We begin this morning, though, with the story of a Waco man concerned for his family and for his neighbors.
I want to see work done for the people.
Sterling Hill, a Waco family man, believes government, like his family, must live within its means. That's why he plans to watch every penny lawmakers spend.
I think there's a lot of work to be done with the budget, and what everything orbits around right now is the pandemic.
A pandemic that's put a huge hole in the budget at a time when Central Texas cities need help keeping pace with fast growth. Thanks to Fort Hood Road, Killeen has practically become an Austin bedroom community.
You're right. A lot of our growth has been contributed because of 195. We have a lot of people that actually, work there at Georgetown or Round Rock, and it's easier to get to work from Killeen than it is from the other side of Austin.
But families insist education remain a big priority too.
I have young kids. I want to be careful about education. I know that was a big win for a lot of people in last session, and so I would like to see a lot of that funding protected, especially early childhood.
Lawmakers say they hear us and they plan to act.
I filed a series of bills this week that are property taxpayer friendly.
Families like Sterling Hill say lawmakers must continue making Texas attractive while keeping it affordable.
I know that's a big issue and a big task.
Later, we'll look at a slightly bigger picture, how what goes on here affects city government. Affects us all. At the Texas State Capitol, Dennis Turner, 25 News.
Thanks, Dennis. Lawmakers for a historic vote that could result in the second impeachment of President Trump. It comes in amid more warnings about potential uprisings ahead of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
House Democrats make good on their threats to impeach President Donald Trump just days before his term expires.
They say that if we impeach, it could make matters worse. Matters can't get worse. We just had a potential coup attempt.
More than 200 House Democrats introducing a single article of impeachment Monday, charging the president with incitement of insurrection for inciting violence against the government of the United States, demanding Trump be held accountable following the violent and deadly mob that stormed the Capitol last week.
Sadly, the person who's running the executive branch is a deranged, unhinged, dangerous President.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi first urging Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment and immediately remove Trump from office. And now several members of the president's party say Trump should resign.
The president committed impeachable offenses.
Even rising Republican freshman Congressman Madison Cawthorn, who attended the rally with the president, saying it was a major mistake for Trump to tell the crowd to head to the Capitol.
There was a bad outcome was destined at that point.
And now an urgent warning this morning about another potential armed insurgents. The FBI alerting law enforcement across the country that armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals through inauguration, pointing to an unnamed armed group calling for storming government buildings and courthouses if President Trump is removed from office before January 20th. State houses coast to coast boarding up, preparing for protests and potentially dangerous demonstrations. While back in the nation's capital, the FBI identifying threats against Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi.
If I'm scared of anything, it's for our democracy.
As for tomorrow's potential vote on impeachment, it would take a majority of the House's 435 members to impeach the president. Still, a conviction in the Senate would be highly unlikely. Andrew Dimber, ABC News, Washington.
Thanks, Andrew. The snow's melting. Most of it's already gone out there, but temperatures are going up and down. So that means road conditions are going to be even more dangerous this morning.
25 News reporter Aaron Heft is out and about this morning and joins us live with what we can expect.
Good morning, team. With the temperatures being as chilly as they are and the roads being damp to wet, we can expect slick roadways this morning.
Slick, wet conditions. It means busy days for people like Kevin Agari.
A lot of what I call cleanup.
Owner of Lone Star Towing, he's seen a lot of carnage. He says the #1 thing to keep an eye on, bridges and overpasses.
Even if they look dry, they're not, especially if it's freezing and we just got through with rain or an ice storm. Just slow down before you get to them. Don't hit your brakes, just coast through them and you should be fine.
Sergeant Ryan Howard with the Department of Public Safety echoes the same.
And people have been going off the road, just people crashing left and right. If you can stay at home, stay at home. If you are driving, reduce your speeds. You know, we know some of the speeds through McLennan County on 35 is 75 miles per hour. But with water on the roadways, the possibility of black ice being on the roadways, there are no points in driving 75 miles per hour.
Using caution and common sense can not only help you, but everyone around you.
Where we're at right now is on the edge of McLennan County in McGregor, and you can see right behind me that there is snow and ice on those roadways. Coming here to this location today was very slick. Yes, that was about an hour ago, but things haven't really changed. We're still underneath that frozen zone. It's about 30 degrees right now here, so please stay safe, drive slowly. That's the advice that all officials always tell us. Drive slowly, get to where you're going as safe as possible. Reporting live in McGregor, Aaron Heft, 25 News.
Aaron, thank you so much. And yeah, we just need to kind of still be on alert this morning.
Alert, yes. We talked about this yesterday. Temperatures are much colder now, 20s, low 30s, like she said. And you can also see her dressed in those hats and lots of layers. So have those on for the kiddos because temperatures are very cold. In fact, this could be some of the coldest air we've seen again so far this season. So a hard freeze is anything 28 or lower. So we've got that for Waco, Temple, 25, Georgetown, San Saba, even low or upper 20s as you go east of I-35. And that's where we have fog forming. And this fog is now turning into more of that freezing fog. Yes, fog can freeze. That might create a little thin glaze on your windshields. Make sure you have that defroster on full blast, or if you've got an ice scraper you can use on your windshield. Again, just allow yourself some extra time as you head out the door. And again, those wet spots might have a little bit of glazing too, so just keep that in mind. But temperatures will start to warm. We're still below freezing all the way through 9 o'clock. So 40s aren't back until about your lunchtime, and they're going to stay in the 40s, maybe some spots climbing into the lower 50s by this afternoon, such as Waco, Temple, Killeen, Burnett, Goldthwaite. You guys stay at 48, and then tonight a few upper